Hi, my name is Blake Thornburg. This is my Module 5, Understanding My Community with Tonganoxie Elementary School. The sociological inventory, issues of time, labor, money. Tonganoxie is made up of mostly working class with a median income of $49,130, which is about $4,000, $4,500 below the U.S. average. The population is about 5,000 people, made up of 90% white, 2% black, 2% Asian, and 6% Hispanic. Some community groups, leadership groups throughout the community. We have a very small PTA within our within our elementary school. It's about 10 parents, made up of a elementary school of about 800, pre-K through 5th grade. Some economic conditions, some political structures. We have an unemployment rate of 3.6%, which is below the national average. Tonganoxie has seen a jump in the job market, which has an increase of about 1.5% over the last years. Any tensions is we're somewhat conservative, mainly Republican populations. Any kind of diversity, as I mentioned earlier, with a 90% white population. Any customs or traditions that are going on. We have a low crime, high quality schools that combine with our parks and rec trails. It's a good combination of both commuting people who commute to the closer suburbs of Kansas City, Lawrence, and Topeka, but also we have a huge country living farming community that surrounds our community. Like I said, some habits of people. Most people who live in Tonganoxie either commute out of town to work or farm. Impact of race, religion, and origin would be 30% of Tonganoxie people are religious. Of that 33%, about half are Catholic. Our community really doesn't play a huge role with our curriculum. Our curriculum is decided by our school district with the help of our staff and our curriculum director in our district. Some major changes in how our community and districts have handled it. We have built within the last couple of years, a brand new elementary. We just passed a bond to add on both classrooms and a new gymnasium to our high school. And our school had just built, or our town had just built, or is still in the process of building a brand new library. So far, the school part of things have gone over with kind of mixed reviews. They really, really like adding the classrooms, adding science labs. It's been mixed reviews with adding of the new $12 million gymnasium. Education levels. There are two types of education in Tonganoxie. We have one public district. They have a pre-K through 5 building, a 6 through 8 building, and a high school, roughly about 2,000 students. And we also have a small private school that goes up to about 6th grade here in town as well. The median age in Tonganoxie is 36, and my actual building that I'm in has one pre-K classroom, and the rest are K through 5. Our city, our town, is roughly 47% female and 52% male. Occupations, like I had mentioned earlier, we are a commuter town. Most people who work in Tonganoxie, they actually work outside of Tonganoxie. They commute to work. The biggest employer in Tonganoxie is actually the school district, and not really any social tension or conflict within our community and school. Communication channels. Different types of communication we use throughout our district and community would be online newspaper, the Mirror, that's seen here. They post daily. They also post print weekly on Wednesdays. Social media, both on Facebook groups or our school social media. And our school also pumps out Skyward updates, which can be anything from when events are happening in school districts, snow days, anything like that. Radio, TV, and daily newspapers that I mentioned. We have a weekly newspaper, the Mirror, that talks about the community, what's going on, both in our community and in our school district. No real TV or radio updates going on in Tonganoxie. Very little foreign language impacts. Our school does have an ESOL teacher, but it's such a small population, it's not really a huge impact on the district community. Most of the news in our community, like I had mentioned earlier, goes through our newspaper, social media, both from our school and our city and our community, social media, Facebook groups, Skyward, updates that are sent out by the school, but also because it is such a small community of about 5,000 people, word of mouth. Something happens, people talk. That is a very rapid and fast way of getting information throughout the community. Some known community groups. We have a huge Veteran Reform Wars population, a VFW population that meets and has a huge impact in the school. They recently had a writing competition in our middle school that our middle school students were involved in. We also have a bunch of church groups that help out with running things in the community and also volunteering in our schools. Varying influence policies, curriculum, test books. Our curriculum department picks options. We get a list of options of what curriculum we would like to use, and then our school, collectively, our elementary school, all votes for which curriculum they would like to be using. Informal, formal groups. We have, like I mentioned earlier, very strong VFW groups, both in the community and the school. Cooperation, protection of exploitation of pupils. We recently have a youth center that is set up in the city for students to be able to go to after school. That is a very safe and free location for students to go and kind of hang out, play video games, all kinds of different activities they can do downtown. Any problem organizations, dominated school politics. There's not really any dominating organizations throughout our small community that has a huge impact on our school economics and policies. Who are influential agents? Our administration, our PTO, even though they are small, they do help out our school a lot and are involved in our school. And veteran teachers. We are lucky enough to have a handful of veteran teachers that know the community, know the school district very, very well. These people that they influence can be new people in the community, new people around the school district, staff of the building, and board members. A lot of our veteran teachers not only knew the board members when they were younger, but taught them as well. Some different theories, positions. The people, I believe, in our community and the students that we are teaching every day, they notice when you see you outside of school. They see, oh, well, they're not just inside of school. They are actually invested in the community. They're invested in our lives outside of that 8 to 3 time schedule when they see us in the buildings. Knowing our community leaders' characteristics, are they able to handle the new situations and current situations going on? We've had a major turnover of not only administration in the district office, but also in our elementary. We have 3 brand new principals in our elementary building as of last year, as well as our new superintendent last year. We also recently voted in a new city mayor to the town of Tonganoxie, whose wife actually works in the school district. These people are, for the most part, known in our community. They come to the events that are going on in our community, like the Christmas lighting ceremony downtown. The city also does a great job of providing information of how to contact the city council or the mayor if anyone would have some kind of questions. Again, know about and has access to the information sources outside of the circle, so outside of the actual people who are involved. Both the school and the city publishes all that information on their websites. We have a great up-to-date city website that not a whole lot of cities have, that has great information of how to contact anybody. Economic conditions, government and business reports, all these reports that our government or our city is having is available online. They're rather lengthy, but they're very easy to find and very easily accessible on our city website. Our agricultural, we are a huge corn, wheat, beans, and cattle area of Kansas. And like I said, with our commerce, most of our jobs are outsourced. They are outside of town. People basically lived here. We have a local grocery store they can shop at, but a majority of our people who live in our town work outside of town. Tonganoxie has seen a job market increase, like I mentioned earlier, 1.5% over the last year. The average income of a Tonganoxie resident is $26,477 a year, which is a little bit slightly below the national average. The sales tax for Tonganoxie is 9.5%, which is above the national average, as well as our tax rate, which is at 5.7%. The median house that's available in Tonganoxie is around $201,000, which is above the national average as well. Much of our businesses that are in downtown Tonganoxie or in the community around Tonganoxie aren't really here for a long time. They're short-lived businesses that are here one day and are lucky to survive a couple of years. Known political structures. Can we separate politics from education? There's always going to be some kind of politics throughout education, whether it is at the local or state level. Politics at state level, they affect how much money our school district is going to be able to get and receive and use, and politics in the local levels, whether it is politics throughout a building or throughout the districts as a whole. There's no way to avoid politics in our education system as it is now. More money spent at those state and local levels on education than any function of government. Our district has began to spend more and more amount on students. As of now, we're about $9,500 our district spends per student. Any of this information, budgets, is readily available on our school and our city website. Not really much on social tensions. Any kind of interracial confrontations that are few and far between are just students talking in the hallways. Nothing major, no gangs, no cliques, not really any discrimination going on throughout our community. Any extra sources of information, like I've said a couple of times, are both our city website and our district website get updated regularly and have great information, whether that is budgets, census information through either our city website or our Chamber of Commerce website, our school board minutes. All of that is updated regularly, either weekly, monthly, for anyone in the community or anyone who would like to access that information. Any power structures, kind of much like other school districts, it starts with our school board. Our school board then talks to our superintendents. We have a head superintendent as well as a assistant superintendent. They work with the building administration. Our high school has two principals. Our middle school has 2 principals. Our elementary has 3 principals because of its size. And then all those principals talk with staff. Not really any micropolitics societies throughout our community and districts. Any multicultural issues, how we display our weave of culture in our elementary building is we use the ABCs. We display this with posters. We talk about it in every single meeting that we have, every conference that we have. We talk about attitude, behavior, and characters with our staff and our students. Our dress code, this is taken straight from our student handbook. The guiding principle behind the school dress code is that clothing should be neat and clean in appearance, show regards to modesty, and be respectful and appropriate for school. Any power structures, maybe a lot of political parties, not really anything that we have to deal with at Tonganoxie. Measure of public opinion, we kind of do this through parent-teacher conferences and back-to-school nights. As far as public surveys, there's not really any public surveys that our district sends out. Thank you for your time.